Are you or someone you know standing in a long security queue in the United States right now? Well, then you have paid for a service that you aren't getting. And no, I'm not talking about taxes here. You see, the TSA, or Transportation Security Administration, was created after the 9/11 attacks, and at around that same time, a fee was also introduced to fund the agency. This became known as the September 11th security fee, and it is still there today, intended to fund both the TSA and other things like air marshals on board. You can actually still see this as part of your ticket price every time that you book a flight in the United States, and it is currently sitting at $5.60 per one-way trip. In 2025, this fee brought in well over $4.5 billion. So with that, you'd think that the TSA would be well funded and should therefore work like clockwork, right? Well, as everyone traveling within the United States right now knows, that's not the case. Security queues at the US airports are currently enormous in places, as loads of TSA workers have called in sick or simply quit due to uncertainty around their pay. So why aren't they getting that money that you have already paid them? Well, as it turns out, this is because most of that money is now being diverted towards national deficit reduction instead. This started with the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2013, which was then approved by the US Congress in 2014. And that meant that the money that you are paying are now taken and just poured into the national debt, instead of letting it fund what it says on your tickets. Now that would be fine if the TSA was still funded properly and people were still getting paid. But in practice, now the TSA and its 61,000 workers are instead funded through the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS. And for reasons that my team and I just cannot understand, that funding is then seen as discretionary spending and therefore has to be appropriated annually by Congress, instead of being seen as the cost of keeping aviation safe and secure, and something that you have already paid for. Now this has led some people to say that there are now arguments that if you miss your flight due to those super long security delays, you should ask for at least that portion of your ticket to be refunded. Which honestly sounds like a quite low bar given what you have likely paid for the whole ticket. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments and send this to someone who needs to hear it.